Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shareen. I'm an interior designer in New York City. Today we are in Brooklyn. This is formerly known as the Metro Tech Center and area, and it is now rebranded as Brooklyn Commons. I've had the pleasure and honor of staging a beautiful reception and pantry space that'll be someone's future home. This space is equipped with a wellness room, 4 separate offices, as I mentioned, the reception and the full pantry with Fisher Paykel appliances, top to bottom, and it is incredibly top-notch. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through what we did to get it all set up. So we're currently in the reception area. This cozy little lounge has some off-white seating when you enter and a nice pewter colored coffee table. We wanted to do something that brought some round element into the space because the wooden slatted walls tend to make it a little bit rectangular and almost boxy. I do like how the focal walls bring your eye up and make sure that you look up higher. I think it's something interesting that we haven't seen a lot in some of these industrial style spaces. We also went with a 6-foot ficus plant in the corner in order to make sure that we continue to bring your eyes up and towards the ceiling and make the space feel as large as possible. The lighting was a huge part of that. These can lights are scattered throughout the space, and then there's also some strategically placed over the center where your coffee table is gonna lie. We have a nice console in the back and a lamp and a piece of art to accompany it. Usually we would have mounted the art on the walls when staging. Sometimes we mount pieces. Sometimes an easy way to get away with that is just to place it leaning up against the wall. That way you're not damaging the walls. And when the future owners come in, if they decide they want to put something else on the walls, it's less work for you to have to do. On our off-white sofas, we have some black and white pillows to accompany them. There's a down insert that's in here. Sometimes I'll go for 2 inserts inside of 1 pillow in order to get a more plush look. Sometimes I like the really cozy look, and I think because the space is a little bit more industrial, I felt like it was a nice offset to have these more cozy looking, cozy styled pillows here. So we went with a down insert and only 1 in each pillow cushion. We have a snake plant in the corner, total classic. And because the space is staged, we have some faux plants. These are from Nearly Natural, which I do recommend. And the snake plant was an online purchase. You can find those anywhere. And while they do last a really long time, if you're staging and no one's gonna be in here maintaining it regularly, it is the way to go. So we did get some sea moss to put on the base of that, just to let it look slightly more realistic. In the opposite corner, we have some additional side chairs and a side table. Just a slightly more colorful vibe because the rebranding is bringing in some new colors into the space. So we started to introduce those slightly before you work your way over into the pantry. Those tables and chairs are from MAD that make a lot of commercial furniture, commercial grade furniture. And the rug is a Laloy rug that's down there on the floor. The pillow cover is actually H&M. It happened to have all of the colors that we needed for the space, so we went with it. And last but not least, the styling items that are on the side table were just a barrage of items. The YSL book is from the YSL Museum, which I'm sure you can order it online. And there's a simple candle and then a wooden chain just for a little bit of interest. If I were to change anything in the space, the only other thing I would add is maybe another rug. But for the most part, I feel like this definitely captures the idea of staging in a space. Next up, we'll show you the pantry. Welcome to Brooklyn Commons Pantry, which is fully outfitted with Fisher Paykel appliances, from a panel-ready refrigerator to double microwaves, a Kohler sink, matte black faucet with a pull-down sink sprayer, and 4 assortments for the proper type of disposal, whether it's composting or recycling for your office. This 12-foot bar is a solid marble slab that is book-ended on either side. It's outfitted with a fluted wood in the base. We went with some very simple black swivel bar stools with a low back for minimal comfort on the other side. And we wanted that to offset the light fixtures that are in the space. These matte black light fixtures with these small globe bulbs diffuse light beautifully in the space, keeping it as even as possible. Our countertop is just a solid white, which is actually a really nice trick for people who want to utilize marble but maybe want to cut back on the budget a little bit. You don't have to have the same countertop on your island as you do on the back counter of your kitchen. So it's a solid white quartz back there, and it is a marble that's bookended, as I mentioned, in the island. And then our backsplash is a blue glass style backsplash that's also really smooth. That single panel is really clean, really nice look. You just have to make sure that you cut it with precision, because obviously there are power outlets and the other spouts that are back there for other uses, and you don't want to have any lines in your backsplash. We also have a floating shelf there and some cabinet lighting underneath that floating shelf in order to give you a little bit more of an ambiance in the kitchen. And then it also gives you this space where you can have 15 or 20-inch cabinets. In this case, you have 20s up at the top so that your cabinets still go up to the ceiling, just underneath the soffit where your air duct is. You want to give the illusion that you're taking up as much real estate as possible on the wall and also creating as much storage as possible. I love the way that we put in the soft close push to touch drawer above the refrigerator. It matches the pull and the opening of the freezer that's beneath the refrigerator in order to make the entire thing look seamless and like it's all cabinetry and storage, and it does not, you do not lose any storage space by having the cabinet set up in that way. Other things in this room are the art. The art is by an artist named Roma, and I'm gonna link their contact information in the description box below. The colors just happen to incorporate everything that Brooklyn Commons is, and so we were able to utilize it in the space. Usually I'd want to go with slightly larger pieces, but because we had these smaller pieces to work with, we just strategically placed it in line with the recessed lighting and where that hit the wall. I thought that that was the best way to make sure that we flattered the space all the way down in order to utilize the full length of the wall and also to really illuminate the artwork. We have 5 pieces that are the same and 1 piece that's slightly different in the space, and we took that different piece and then we put it and elevated it on the floating shelf. We have some vases and some flowers, some of which are real and some are faux, mixed together in the space in order to just create some life and greenery until the space actually gets rented. The floors are a concrete tile. It's a 24 by 24, and the grout lines match the tile, which is a very light gray, almost like an alabaster. So when you're looking at it from afar, it looks like it's a solid concrete all the way through, but really it's tiled. It's a square tile, which is not a difficult pattern to lay. The baseboards over in this area of the pantry are a white rubber, and then the offices that go down the space are black trimmed metal floor to ceiling windows so that you have access to each of the offices. If you needed one to be more or less private, you do have the option to add a frost onto the glass so that you don't lose any of the light, natural light coming into the space, but you do have a little bit more privacy in the space. That is the pantry in the main space. Last but not least, we will talk about the wellness room. I'm gonna draw your attention to the wellness room. In New York City, when you have over a certain number of employees and or you have an actively nursing mother in your corporation, you legally have to have a space for them, which was a joy for me because it meant not 1 kitchenette, but 2. So we were able to place a second pantry / kitchenette area in the wellness room. It's outfitted with a mini fridge that's also panel ready. It has ample storage inside of there and just enough space for 2 accent chairs or 1 sofa, a nice comfortable rug. It is well lit and it has a full-size mirror from the ground up so that you can get a complete view of yourself and make sure that you are ready to get back to work when you're finished taking care of your duties in there and heading back out. The wellness room is beautiful because it's in a off to the side kind of location in the building, and it's also in the same office. So it doesn't feel like you have to trek a really long distance in order to get where you need to go and do what you need to do. This room is also opposite some additional storage in the space. That storage includes some open shelving on the top and some cubbies, and then another row of some lower cabinets underneath just for some additional office storage. I cannot stress how much storage this space has. And when people put in their own tables and chairs and desks and additional filing cabinets, it's plenty of use for someone with a large size corporation. Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere on YouTube, but you chose to be with me, and I appreciate that. I am thankful for you, and I will see you next time. Thursday after next. That is the next time I will see you. For now, ciao.